Hello, I'm Mayor Rick Goldring, and welcome to Burlington Matters. Burlington Matters is a program I host here on Cogeco TV about events and the happenings within the city of Burlington. Today, our special guests are two of the finalists of the Burlington Chamber of Commerce Small Business Awards in the Young Entrepreneur category. And I must say that entrepreneurship is very important in our city. Most of the new jobs that are created are in the smaller business sector, and businesses that are between 2 to 6 years of age actually create about 80% of the new jobs in our community. And recognizing that technology is a big part of our lives now, technology does play a big role in job creation. And in any event, my two guests today are Loewen Crowther from the studio Technique and James Loewen of the Loewen Group Mortgages. So first of all, congratulations on your recognition as being nominees and finalists for the Chamber of Commerce Small Business Award, Young Entrepreneur Award. And thank you very much for being here today. So Loewen, I'm going to start with you. So how did it all start? How did the studio Technique begin?
Well, Studio Technique has actually been around since 2000. I started taking Pilates when I was 16, and I grew up as a dancer. So my whole life I did jazz, tap, ballet, and I fell into Pilates because I heard it was a really good workout and it was known to really help strengthen and rehabilitate the body. So for me, typical dancer injury, I was dancing and I was getting ready for an audition and I got injured. I sprained my ankle, and I kind of knew the training that I already kind of did with Pilates, I wanted to see if that was going to help me to dance again. So sure enough, I started taking Pilates about 2-3 times a week, fell in love. Then I took the course. So I took the main course at Stop Pilates in Toronto, downtown, and I did that for about a year, did my apprenticeship hours, and then I was very fortunate to start teaching at Studio Technique, and I quickly, within 2 to 3 months, started working full-time, about 35 hours a week, and then I bought the business in 2011.
So how many people do you serve? How do you measure success in your business?
For sure. Basically, I mean, for me, I just love it when, again, I've had clientele now. So how old am I? 30. So I've been teaching full-time for about 10 years, and I have clients that have been with me that long. So for me, we do private sessions, semi-private, small group class. So it is very different than a gym where they can have 5,000 members or more, right? So for me, I just love that. It's, again, if you're starting to help a client and they're seeing that progress and they want to come back and they know that you're helping them achieve their goals, whether it be weight loss, whether it is that you're helping them, cure from an injury. That's how, to be honest, I'm really seeing that success, how I feel better when they keep coming back. And it's those clients that have been with you for years to come. That's just what gives me the great joy for that.
But you've owned the business since 2011.
Yes.
For 5 years.
Yes.
Yes. So we'll come back to you in a sec, but I want to go to James. And James, how did it all start for you? You have a mortgage business?
We do, yeah. We've got a brokerage.
And that's a competitive environment today?
Very much so, yeah. You can say
40 years ago, there was no such thing as a mortgage broker?
Yeah, no. It was
or maybe there was, but it wasn't common. It wasn't common back then.
I think the idea of mortgage brokers have changed over the years as well. I started in the banking industry, and as I sat there, I started meeting with some awesome clients, and I started realizing that they're so diverse. And working in one bank, I won't name which one, it was a great training ground, I can say that, but the needs were very diverse. They were very unique for each person, and I only had one solution. Right? I only had one product that I could really provide. So it became kind of frustrating to know that there was other lenders and other people that I knew.
So one product from the financial institution that you were working for, and you didn't have the option. So if one size didn't fit all.
Exactly.
Right?
And if it doesn't fit, it was, you either then had to decline them, or I had to sit and try to nudge them to go to another competitor, right? And it just didn't feel quite right. And I had the opportunity to meet with a mortgage broker that broke down and said, what if you had the ability to have the entirety available to you, so that without prejudice, you could find the true solution that met their exact needs? I couldn't sit there in the bank and tell a client why not to use the bank I was working with. I probably would have been fired quite quickly. So it's amazing now to sit there.
So you fired yourself?
Essentially. It was the best thing I did. I mean, now my boss he's okay to me. So, I mean, I compare it to going to a grocery store or a beer store that has only one shelf and one beer. That wouldn't be the store I would go to. And it's just, how do you trust truthfully that the person that's sitting across from you giving a recommendation is giving you the best for you when they only have one recommendation they can provide?
So what was it like going from an employee of a financial institution where you had a predictable income?
Certainly.
And then you went out on your own?
It's challenging. I mean, as any entrepreneur can attest to, it's a gamble, it's a risk. It's having that I just the passion and conviction and to continue. I met my now wife at the very same time, and we joke around that I mean it's great. We celebrate amazing success, but it was really hard. There was some lows to go through, but I had a really great coach. I know that you've worked with some as well that worked together and basically helped that accountability to put in place a plan and truthfully run your business like a business. And that's, I think, a big difference.
So, Lauren, what's the biggest challenge for you? So you've had the business for 5 years. I mean, I'm sure it hasn't been smooth sailing.
No.
And why do you think you were nominated for the award at the Chamber?
Truly because I love what I do.
Right.
Pilates, even though it's not dance anymore, it's still, I'm working with the body. I'm working with women to help themselves feel better. Right. You know, health and fitness is such a big part of society that we're really trying to hone on for everybody. So a client that nominated me, I feel, did it because every week she'll still leave my class and go, you did it again, like you kicked my butt. And she's like, you leave me feeling amazing. Sometimes I get texts all the time from clients and they'll just be like, I can't even walk up the stairs, or I can't sit
that's
down.
A good thing.
And then I go, yes, and I kind of text back with a little pound, like that emoticon thing. So for me, truly, I mean, that feedback from those clients is amazing, to just know that I'm kind of keeping on track with them and they're seeing that progress. A huge challenge, to be honest, with this kind of business, and I'm sure you can relate as well. How am I going to be different from the other Pilates studio down the street?
Exactly.
Because nowadays, Pilates, you know, it's so well known now that before it used to just be at a gym, you know, 20 people in a class. Now there's 6 or 7 Pilates studios in Burlington. So how am I going to step away? I've really worked in that sense, as I'm sure if you want, I just feel if you want it bad enough, and if you love what you do, it's now showing. I'm now a Lululemon ambassador for the Mapleview Mall, so I have Lululemon on my side, so I model their clothes and do everything, and they help to promote my studio. I've been on CHCH, the news twice, the evening news and the morning news, Reader's Choice Awards. I've been nominated 5 years in a row for Best Pilates Studio. So it's, again, just getting myself out there.
So you're doing some marketing.
Absolutely.
You're doing some marketing, but there's obviously some substance behind the marketing,
right?
It's not all sizzle.
Exactly.
Right? It's not all sizzle.
Exactly.
So you have good relationships. So obviously you're enthusiastic.
I hope so.
but it's got to be more than that, right? It's more than just enthusiasm and good marketing. There's got to be some good processes that you're involved in.
Yeah, training. I mean, the huge thing for to even keep my certification, and I encourage all my instructors. We have to do this. We have to go.
So how many employees do you have?
I have about 5 under with me that work with me.
And what about the administration side? So
well, my parents, actually, little side note, they've owned their own business for about 33 years. They're extremely successful, so they are the ones, to be honest, that completely help me on that side of it. Because it is not just teaching for me anymore. That's maybe 40% of my job now. Right. The other 60% is the admin, is the promotions, is the marketing, is everything else that's involved in running a business.
So your parents helping you with the admin? Okay,
yes.
well, that's a great asset.
Oh my God, it was, and still now, like I have meetings with them once a week. My dad goes over with me every 3 months, my comparables, my financial, like everything. So I'm very grateful that I have them helping me. He keeps
you aware of what the numbers are.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And James, how big is your organization?
We've got 9 of us together in office. We have 5 that are full-time staff, so actually employees. So there's some of our team that work and run their own independent as agents, basically through us as a broker, coaching with them and helping to get their deals done and just training and business development. And then in our office we have a staff of 5 of us together, which has been huge. That's been the biggest change in development as you grow your business, to realize that there's people out there that can do what you do, probably even better than I can do, which I know they do. And it gives that availability. When someone's calling in, we want to make sure that someone's there and available right away to give that turnaround. They're all licensed brokers, so it's not just a simple admin or a secretary or something. So there's truthfully, between the technology we implement that we can share and work, we can really tag team on each file and make sure that someone's there right away when you need it, because it's kind of a sensitive, timely situation, and I mean, most brokerages have the exact same products. We just have to try a lot harder.
So you started your business in 2009.
I left actually. I left Royal Bank, I should say, in 2006. So actually, March, 10 years I've been actually a mortgage broker. So we started as an agent. I did a few years as an agent, working out of another office, a bit from home, and then eventually I purchased my office.
So you went through 07, 08.
I did.
That wasn't a fun time. So you were responsible for your own income.
Very much so.
During that time.
Very much so. Yeah.
So that had to be challenging.
I mean, the saying that a door shuts and a window opens is very true. When there's one ending, there's opportunities always to be there. So if you're, if you're seeking to those and you've got good people that you can work with, I mean, our clients are great at referring us continually. We've got great centers of influence, so business partners in the community, people like the Chamber of Commerce and such as well. So I think as you, as areas have gotten more difficult, it presented us more opportunities as well, which we just, similar to yourself, seek training, seeking opportunities, seeking education to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward.
So there's a common theme here. And I think one of the themes is, I remember when Ron Joyce, the founder of Tim Hortons, was recognized as the Entrepreneur of the Year for Burlington a number of years ago. He had about 10 rules or laws or whatever, or pieces of advice. But one of them I remember quite well was, it's never good enough. Right? It's never, ever good enough.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't, I mean, the joke we have in our office is you can't hit a moving target. So if you're always progressing and changing and improving, then someone else is going to try to mimic you, but you're on to your next
Or you can always fit more people into a bar class, or you can always get more people, or why isn't this class full? Like, there's always ways to.
But that resonates with you,
exactly,
right? As well.
Exactly.
You can't just sit still,
can't just,
right?
no, it's constant. Yeah. Constant.
And I feel the same thing as a city. We cannot just sit still. We have to continue to strive to get better all the time, and delivery of services as far as the direction of where we want to go as a city. And we can never, ever take anything for granted.
Exactly.
So, biggest challenge for you, James, in the last 7 or 8 years since you've set up your office? Is there a time that maybe you don't want to talk about some of the challenges?
Honestly, I could say there's a very difficult time where I could not let go. I think it's your baby, right? It's what you've bred together, right?
So you could not let go.
It's so hard. Meaning, I didn't know when to stop working, when to start working. I was working a bit out of my home. And just being a narcissistic kind of person of only I can do this, and I wish I could go back and shake and choke a previous version to realize that there's people that can do lots of aspects of my job better than I can, and allow me to focus what I love doing and meeting truly with clients and getting to know them and providing that, and letting other people that are far better doing it than I am, that you can trust them, you can enable them, and watching them succeed and develop and grow has actually become another one of my favorite parts of our company. It's very rewarding.
Great. Well, thank you very much for sharing so far. I am Mayor Rick Goldring. If you're just tuning in, you're watching Burlington Matters. We're going to take a quick break and come back and talk more with the two finalists of the Young Entrepreneur Award of the Burlington Chamber of Commerce. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Burlington Matters. I'm Mayor Rick Goldring, and my two guests for this particular program are James Loewen of the Loewen Group Mortgages and Lauren Crowther of the Studio Technique, and they are both finalists for the Burlington Chamber of Commerce Young Entrepreneur Award for 2015. So welcome back, and if you're going to provide advice to somebody who's considering starting their own business, what would you say to them, Lauren?
Just from even the experience still, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask people for advice, for questions, and just for help. I really just found, just from an everyday challenge, there's times where I'm like, oh my gosh, but I love what I do. I think that's huge. If you love and you're passionate about something, do it. Take a risk. You live once. I truly believe if you have that support and you have help, that you have the drive and you have the motivation to know that sometimes you have to sacrifice things, then absolutely do it. But I just don't be afraid to ask for help.
So have you had to make sacrifices in the short term? Or?
Yes, I actually had an acting career beforehand, and I went to school I wanted to become a performer. So it came to a point where when I was, came with this opportunity to own Studio Technique, I had to make a decision, because at that point I couldn't just leave and get a call from my agent and go and do a commercial the next day when I had a full roster of 8 people, coming to see me. So it just came to a point where I had to really think and go, okay, this is what I want to do. I love teaching. It still kind of is that body connection for me as a dancer, and I had to sacrifice that for sure. So
you had something else you were pretty passionate about as well, but you had to make a call.
Yes.
You had to make a decision that if I want this, then I have to put that
on the back
aside.
burner.
How about you, James? What would you suggest to people considering entering the world of being an entrepreneur?
Very similar guidelines. I mean, obviously, the passion, you have to love what you do. You're going to spend hours and hours doing this. Recognize that there's going to be hard days, and there's going to be even harder ones that are kind of come out, and that's part of the process. That's enjoyable too as you reflect back. Surround yourself with bright people. Coaches are well worth the money. The investment that you put into yourself and into your business, it's going to pay back in spades. And surround yourself with other people. I use the term centers of influence, or COIs is a big one, and that can be any business owner that's going to be around you, or it's someone that provides any type of service that you can ask and analyze their company and business. And like you say, asking for help from other people is huge. And just, great people around you, and love what you're going to be doing, because you're going to be spending hours doing it. And it shouldn't feel like work too much, maybe here and there, but sacrifices will have to come along the way of your time and of your hours and with family, but it's worth it. It pays off in the end.
If we're sitting together in 3 years, so say on June 1st, 2019, and you're looking back at the previous 3 years, what has to have happened in your business for you to feel happy with your progress? Lauren?
For me, firstly, actually something that James mentioned earlier, delegating, definitely a little bit more. That eventually in 3 years from now, will be looking and I will just be teaching during the day. But there's also a course that I actually have a plan, it's kind of my 5-year plan, that I will be able to be a master trainer. So I will be able to actually at my facility teach people how to become Pilates instructors. So instead of everyone having to go to Stott in Toronto, I would have something closer to home. So that's actually one of my goals, that eventually I could do that.
So when you're working with clients, do some just show up for classes and that's it?
Usually, like I've had a couple of inquiries that someone's asked, like, how do I get certified? What's the protocol to do that?
Right.
Right now, for me, I am just that center where people, they'll email me and just say, okay, I want to come Mondays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. for Pilates, or schedule me in for Tuesday night and Thursday night for the bar class, or Saturday morning I want to do the cardio class. So right now it's more on that kind of sense, where people just kind of come in and take class. But eventually, I definitely want to expand the studio to have it be more of that education type center, and me to teach other people, because there's a lot of people that have interest in doing the bar course or teaching Pilates, but again, there's so much involved, as is any industry. It's not just, because nowadays there's so many things on the internet where come to Toronto for the weekend, be a bar instructor. It's like, it doesn't take a weekend. People don't really realize that how much, again, it's like any kind of career choice you go on, there's work involved. So I would love to be able to share my knowledge and help people teach one day.
How many visits a week from people? How many times do people come into your facility?
It's like a gym, the same thing. So I mean, the most we have some clients that have definitely come every day.
Right. But in total, how many people would you say you're serving on a weekly basis?
So my clientele base, I think right now that are active clients, probably just under 200 members that we have that are active. Okay. So whether it's once a week, whether it's
sure.
So I mean, that's active. I mean, of course, like anything, we want more, we want to grow, we want to offer more classes when that demand is there. But of course, it's always like, how do we do more, and what can we do differently than the gym, and just other things to offer that are going to stand out.
So James, that 3-year question for you. If we're sitting together June 1st, 2019, you're looking back.
Well, we'll be on the golf course that time, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think it'll be great to see and watch my team just continue to progress. I know they've already become amazing. I know in 3 years I'll be sitting there and they'll be schooling me even more than they already are on the best solutions and strategies that we have. And I'll continue. I don't think I will change from the fact that I got into this because I love helping people. I like listening and learning and finding out what their goals are, setting up a strategy, and then executing on that, right? Actually, I love it when I meet with a service person and they're great till the transaction occurs, and I still continue to hear from them, right? They still show that care, and then they actually do what they say they're going to do, right? They execute the strategy that we created. So I think in 3 years you'll find me still doing that, because it's what I love, and my staff will just keep kicking my butt and become even better than I am.
But some people would say, well, a mortgage is a mortgage. Right?
Yeah.
And I know it's not. I mean, believe me. But some people would say that, and they say, well, you just, you need a mortgage, and you go get a mortgage.
And it's hard to know the difference, right? And it's the same thing as saying a car's a car.
Right.
And we get this often when people come and say, like, I want the cheapest mortgage possible, and I want to look out and say, you best be driving the cheapest car possible as well.
Right.
Because you can come in and say, well, I got 10 grand for a car. Well, the variety could be massive, the features, the warranties, and that's where we need to educate that.
So some people don't think about the ability to put extra money down against the mortgage. I'm just using that as one feature.
Yeah, there's about 11 different breakdowns that we go through on that, and that's outside of just rate, because oftentimes we can get the lenders to become to the exact same rate. So if that is the same, now what is the other deciding features that we're going to bring in there? It's going to be free insurances, ways for us to manage your mortgage for you. How can we save you lots of interest, pay it off faster? Do you have goals of buying rental homes? Do you want to be leveraging that money and investing with a financial planner? What's the most tax efficient means of setting that up? Can we strategically put it together to save you more money on land transfer tax up front, depending on who's owned in the past or not, or using your RSPs intelligently to save money that way? So we'll bring in experts from financial planners, lawyers, accountants, insurance brokers to make sure, and that is all outside of just simply the rate. And it's really great to see people go, I had no clue. I just thought that's what you look for, because people know that 3 is less than 4.
It was funny. I remember very clearly when after I bought my first house, and 3 or 4 years later I'm selling my first house. And I remember being so focused on the price when the agent came in, and I said, "Well, I'm not going to listen anymore. That price is terrible."
Sure.
And then the agent was very good, and she said, "Well, let's just listen to the whole offer, and listen to what when the offer is good for, and so on and forth, when the closing date is, and so on and so forth." But I was so focused on what I was going to get for the house, and there's so much more to it than that. Same thing with a mortgage. Right. Same thing with insurance, investment products. It's not just obvious.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's where we're there to shed some light and just education. That's all it is. A lot of education.
How has social media impacted your business, or has it?
I think it definitely has, in small doses. I mean, even just, and it's, again, I do Twitter. I have a Facebook page for the studio, and Instagram. Definitely Instagram. I've had like 3 people. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but just from someone liking a photo or just seeing something involving Pilates or bar, or whatever they put their hashtag in, it's definitely helped for sure. And just getting the word out there, because again, friends share your page, clients share your page. So for me, I'm going to keep that up for sure, just because it helps a lot.
How about you, James? Has social media impacted your business?
Absolutely. I mean, the environment of online has become huge as a place of education, and people are seeking to there. We're honored, we're blessed to have amazing clients that have provided reviews and feedback on Google. We're really proud that we're Canada's highest and best ranked mortgage brokerage at a 5-star rating from every client. And it's something that when we talk about how to measure ourselves, that's what we look at as each day is kind of our return. And that's where people are seeking that info. So things like having an app, a mobile app that's free for clients to use, from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and down. So it is a broad spectrum, and we try to provide as much education so people can start gathering and educating up front.
And before we went on air and started this taping, you told me that you were given a national award recently. Tell us about that.
Yeah. Thank you. Last year I was honored with the Mortgage Broker for Canada of the Year. This year we received 2016 Mortgage Brokerage for Canada as well.
That's great.
So very proud of my team.
How many other mortgage brokerages?
Every single mortgage brokerage in Canada.
And there's
thousands.
Thousands,
yeah.
And the categories, how you're ranked? What were the key things that they?
You're nominated by your peers and by clients, and then from there they bring in some industry experts and also external from other businesses and such to analyze and decide who would be that person. So for us, it's we're nerds like that. We love the mortgages inside. So this is like our Academy Awards. It's the highest prestige you can receive, and we're greatly honored to receive that.
That's great.
Good for you. What do you do outside of work?
Oh, so much. Even myself, I like to work out. I like to go to yoga, do that. I love hanging out with my friends. I have a puppy, so I'm obsessed with my dogs. I go out for walks with my mom like twice a week. My parents were just building a new place actually down on Lake Shore, so I just love downtown Burlington, because you're downtown anyways. But just hang out with friends a lot, with my husband, family. Yeah.
James, what about you?
My little daughter, my Lucy, she's 16, so she's pretty much everything to us right now. So it forces you to have that focus on your efficiency of time and trying to spend some there. I enjoy meeting up with other brokers and other industry like centers of influences. We become.
You love the business.
I do. I don't know. I'm like that. So the Chamber of Commerce now as well. They're doing some amazing events. We just had a hypnotist in there on Wednesday that we met downtown at Wendell Clark's, and it was really awesome. Like, you're meeting other people and you're learning crazy things from a hypnotist of all people. It was awesome. So those things are fun.
Good. And your next vacation is where? I'm just curious.
Oh gosh. Well, last summer we went to Europe, so I think my next big vacation, I don't even know. Oh my God. We want to go to Chicago. I've never been to Chicago.
Okay.
So that sounds so weird, but
Do you have anything on the docket for a trip?
Absolutely, yeah. We're heading to PEI in a few weeks with our in-laws as well. I've never been out there, so some time to relax and travel.
Good. Yeah. Well, I must say I've really enjoyed our dialogue today. You're
you.
both two very inspiring people, and I want to congratulate you on the recognition you received through the Chamber of Commerce, and James, your national recognition. You both have clear passion about your businesses, and they're very different businesses, but the passion is very similar. And so I congratulate on what you've achieved, and you should be very proud of what you've achieved. I know a lot of people ask me what I'm most proud of in my life, and I certainly am very proud that I was elected mayor and re-elected mayor. But I'm equally proud, if not more proud, of the fact that when I was 21 years of age, I joined Sun Life as a life insurance agent. My career evolved from that into full-fledged financial planning. So I built a business, and I raised a family on what I did, generating income for myself by serving others. And so hats off to you. I admire you greatly, and I thank you both for taking time to be with me here today, and congratulations again. If you've just tuned in, you've been watching Burlington Matters. I'm Mayor Rick Goldring, and since this is the last show of this particular season, we've done 18 episodes since September of 2015. And we're going to be back. We've been renewed. Our contract has been renewed by TV Cogeco, which is a good thing for season 2, starting in September of 2016. So we'll be back in the fall. So I encourage you, if you have an idea for a television program that we can do, give the mayor's office a call at 905-335-7607 or email us at mayor@burlington.ca. I do want to thank our technical producer, James Spalding, our community producer from my office, Tina Dupko-Denver, for their work on the show this season. I want to recognize the manager of programming and community relations, Ben Lyman, as well as production assistant Lori Henry for their support of Burlington Matters. And I also want to take time to recognize all the wonderful, great volunteers that are so good at their job here behind the scenes at Cogeco TV that make us look good on air. So thank you all for tuning in for Burlington Matters. Enjoy the summer, and we'll see you in the fall next time on Burlington Matters.